Here we are back together again, friends, for another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.
My name is Courtney. My daughter was diagnosed with type 1 as a 5-year-old 2 years ago.
If this is your first time listening to the Juicebox Podcast and you'd like to hear more, download Apple Podcasts or Spotify, really any audio app at all. Look for the Juicebox Podcast and follow or subscribe. We put out new content every day that you'll enjoy. Want to learn more about your diabetes management? Go to juiceboxpodcast.com up in the menu and look for Bold Beginnings, the Diabetes Pro Tip series, and much more. This podcast is full of collections and series of information that will help you to live better with insulin. If you're looking for community around type 1 diabetes, check out the Juicebox Podcast private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes. But everybody is welcome. Type 1, Type 2, gestational, loved ones, it doesn't matter to me. If you're impacted by diabetes and you're looking for support, comfort, or community, check out Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. Today's episode is sponsored by the Tandem Mobi system with Control-IQ Plus technology. If you are looking for the only system with auto bolus, multiple wear options, and full control from your personal iPhone, you're looking for Tandem's newest pump and algorithm. Use my link to support the podcast, tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. Check it out. Today's episode is also sponsored by US Med, usmed.com/juicebox, or call 888-721-1514. US Med is where my daughter gets her diabetes supplies from, and you could too. Use the link or number to get your free benefit check and get started today with US Med. The podcast is also sponsored today by the Eversense 365. The Eversense 365 has exceptional accuracy over 1 year and is the most accurate CGM in the low range that you can get. Eversensecgm.com/juicebox.
My name is Courtney. I am a school administrator and elementary school principal, and I've been in education for 20 years. And my daughter was diagnosed with type 1 as a 5-year-old 2 years ago.
She's 7 now.
She's 7 now, yeah.
You have other children besides that one or no?
I do. I have a younger son he's 5 now.
7 and 5. He was 3 when she was diagnosed.
Yes.
Were you going to have more kids and then you stopped?
No.
Two was
done
good?
With 2.
You
2
were
is good. Yep.
Girl, boy. And you're like, look what you did. We're done.
Exactly. My husband wanted a third, and I said, I'm good with that as long as you carry this third one.
I hope your new wife and you will be very happy.
Exactly.
Because I'm not doing this again. Thank you. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
In the family, you, your husband, extended family, other autoimmune issues?
No.
Nothing.
Celiac. Knock on wood, nothing right now.
Somebody has eczema.
Eczema, yes.
Okay.
Eczema, yes.
What about a vitiligo, a changing of the color of the skin?
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
Thyroid.
Nope.
Get out of here. Not one low energy person in your family?
No.
Right.
Really?
No,
yeah.
I believe you. Okay. Who's got the eczema?
My son.
Your son does. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you don't have any knowledge of diabetes. It's not like you're looking around corners for it. What happens to your daughter that first piques your interest?
Well, it was interesting because I was at my 20-year college reunion, and one of my closest friends from college, her son had just been diagnosed about a year prior. And she was talking to me about the symptoms and his diagnosis. And I thought to myself, it's funny, Maggie, my daughter, has some of those symptoms, like she's going to the bathroom a lot, she's drinking a lot of water, all the classic symptoms. And she's like, it's probably not type 1, Courtney. It's probably something else. But if you're worried, make an appointment with your pediatrician. So I went back home, waited a few more weeks. And again, easy to, as I'm sure many of us do, excuse away the symptoms. I was like, I'm just going to take her in. And sure enough, she had glucose in her urine and her blood sugar was 350. I love my pediatrician. And she said, you have to go to the emergency room right now. I'm like, no, I don't. She's fine. She just had, she just was at school. So she wasn't in DKA, which was good. Thank you to my college roommate.
Did you go to the ER?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that funny? You're first, like somebody's like, you have to go to the emergency room. And you're like, no. Silly.
No, I don't.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. Did you even go to school? I've never checked.
Exactly. Yep. And then drove to the children's hospital in our city, and she was admitted for several days, and it all started.
Wow. How bizarre is that? You're talking to a person you probably hadn't seen in forever.
Yep.
And they're like, oh my God, you. And you're like, you. I remember that time we got drunk at the thing. And you're like, yeah.
Exactly.
What's going on with you? And she's like, oh, my kid got diabetes last year. Like, oh, bummer. And then she starts rattling off her life. And you're like, this poor lady looks exhausted. Also, she's describing my daughter to me. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Yep. Wow, that's really something.
Yeah.
Did you a year later look like she looked at the...
Yes, absolutely. Actually just got together with her last weekend. I was meant to go to that reunion and hear that information. And the funny thing is, working in schools, we have kids with type 1 at my school, obviously, that I work at. And I still had no flippin' idea.
Yeah. Did it stick with you, or are you okay with it?
What's that?
That it just didn't pop the front of mind as soon as you saw it.
No, because even working in schools and teaching kids who had type 1, I didn't know, obviously, the depths of it and the extent of it and what it all entailed. I just sort of remember thinking, yeah, they have to take insulin.
Yeah.
No big deal.
You're not an anxious person?
I'm a very anxious person.
You are?
Yes.
Well, it's just the way you said it. That was you were like, oh no, Scott, you've misread that completely. I'm a disaster.
I am a disaster. Yes.
Wow.
No, but I just, you don't until I think it's interesting now when I see, kids with, different types of medical conditions, how much you don't really know until you're experiencing it. We had a student that, she has spina bifida. And again, that's a, pretty complex medical condition that she has to navigate her entire life. And you just never really know until your kid is the one that is going through it.
No, of course. Wait, tell me more about your anxiety. How long has this been around?
My entire life.
Since I was 3, Scott.
Yeah. I remember. No, but after Maggie's diagnosis, it was obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but the worst it ever was. Mm-hmm. I did the things, went to therapy, got on medication. I actually found a therapist who her son is type 1. So that was really helpful.
I was going to say that's probably incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I did the thing. So there's a checklist. I followed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still do talk therapy?
Occasionally. I do.
When things feel hard to handle?
Yeah.
Or,
Yep. I know the indicators for myself. Mm-hmm. And, when things start to feel really overwhelming, I know, okay, time for a tune-up.
What about the medication? Did you keep doing it, or did you use it for a while and then stop?
No, I'm still on it. Yep.
Okay. And what does it do for you?
It's funny because I think I can just sort of like operate as a normal human being as opposed to somebody who is in this fight or flight crisis mode all the time. So I was just talking with my provider, and she was like, you probably feel like you can go off of it because it sounds like you're doing pretty well. I'm like, I do. And she was like, yeah, you shouldn't.
She's like, no,
you should stay
I've gotten to know you, Courtney, and let me just tell you something. The meds are the only thing holding this together.
Exactly.
And those meds are using bath salts? What are you using exactly?
No, not bath salts, just Zoloft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the first one you tried and it worked out well for you?
It did, yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Does your husband or other people in your life mention it to you? Meaning, is the shift noticeable to others or just something that's more internal for you?
I think it's noticeable to others, especially, after diagnosis when our world was rocked. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I lost 30 pounds. I, just was constantly worried, anxious. So and now I can sleep, I can eat, I can go to work, all those things.
Did someone help you back then? Did you know yourself? Like, how did you know you needed help? Did you overhear your husband telling the kids, don't worry, new mommy will be better than this? Or like,
Yeah, exactly.
what happened exactly that kind of made you think like, okay, I have to do something?
Yeah, the people in my life, my husband, my parents, my siblings, some of my good friends.
Courtney's like people who I bumped into at the grocery store. Everybody, Scott.
Exactly. Exactly.
I went to get my license renewed, and the lady's yelling at me, "You need help!" And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Exactly.
Well, that's interesting. But the 30-pound weight loss, were you like not eating, or what was happening?
I wasn't eating, and I just suddenly kind of developed a strange relationship with food. And at the beginning, we were pretty restrictive with my daughter, which I regret now. We just did all low carb. Yeah, I would feel guilty about eating things that were, had carbs and sugar.
Oh, you weren't feeding to her, so you stopped eating everything too.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Were you mad at your husband because he kept eating? Because I know he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like, listen, that's your journey. I'm over here with my tortilla chips.
Exactly.
How did the dominoes fall that make you go low carb with the child right away?
I think insulin was scary for a long time. And it was just easier to manage when she was eating low carb. And, I'm a straight A student. I remember thinking like, I can figure this out. And I couldn't until I listened to Juicebox Podcast.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to happen, Courtney.
Seriously, though. Seriously. It was, I remember thinking, oh, okay, a podcast. Someone had sent it to me. I was like, this is good. What will it be? Like 10, 15 episodes? I'll listen to it. I'll learn everything I need to know and we'll be golden.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
It didn't work that way. So when you're like, there's probably like 3 things I have to know. I'll write them down while he's talking.
Exactly.
So you're saying she's having outcomes not commensurate with your desires. Things are not going well at all. You try to like pull a little bit of information together. It doesn't get any better. And you're like, you know what? Instead, what if we just never had a carb again? Let's try that.
Totally.
Okay.
Yep.
And that was, I imagine, probably worked pretty well, right?
It wasn't bad.
Okay.
Except that, my poor 5-year-old couldn't have cupcakes when it was someone's birthday, or, she wanted something and I said no a lot.
I said no.
And
she's like, Mommy, are we married? No. So wait, take the like kind of like ham-fisted cupcake example away. Like day to day, what was it impacting? Or was it not? Was it just like you got to a birthday party and you're like, God, geez, we're low carb?
I don't know. I think it was more about, for me, like her mental health and her mental well-being and wanting to be like, quote, every other kid. Mm-hmm. Then I tried to relinquish some control and learn more and say, okay, you're gonna, eat what every kid wants to eat, and within limits, of course.
I imagine you were,
she's not
giving her a
she's not having ice cream for breakfast, but
on top of a cinnamon bun,
washed
down with a milkshake. That's not. You're just saying like common day-to-day items, like
totally.
What happened? She was eating low carb, and do you think she felt like marginalized in that situation, or was it your guilt? Or diabetes comes with a lot of things to remember, so it's nice when someone takes something off of your plate. US Med has done that for us. When it's time for Ardent supplies to be refreshed, we get an email. Rolls up and in your inbox says, "Hi Ardent, this is your friendly reorder email from US Med." You open up the email, it's a big button that says, "Click here to reorder," and you're done. Finally, somebody taking away a responsibility instead of adding one. US Med has done that for us. An email arrives, we click on a link, and the next thing you know, your products are at the front door. That simple. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. I never have to wonder if Ardent has enough supplies. I click on one link, I open up a box, I put the stuff in the drawer, and we're done. US Med carries everything from insulin pumps and diabetes testing supplies to the latest CGMs like the Libre 3 and the Dexcom G7. They accept Medicare nationwide, over 800 private insurers, and all you have to do to get started is call 888-721-1514 or go to my link, usmed.com/juicebox. Using that number or my link helps to support the production of the Juicebox podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by a long-term CGM that's going to help you to stay on top of your glucose readings, the Eversense 365. I'm talking, of course, about the world's first and only CGM that lasts for 1 year. 1 year, one CGM. Are you tired of those other CGMs? The ones that give you all those problems that you didn't expect? Knocking them off, false alerts, not lasting as long as they're supposed to? If you're tired of those constant frustrations, use my link, eversensecgm.com/juicebox to learn more about the Eversense 365. Some of you may be able to experience the Eversense 365 for as low as $199 for a full year. At my link, you'll find those details and can learn about eligibility. eversensecgm.com/juicebox. Check it out.
I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
Maggie she's a great kid, but she's and she's very aware of.
She's a great kid, but she's a little bit of an asshole. I got to tell you, it's just so funny where you paused. She's a great kid. I'm sorry.
She is, but what's really important to her is also like what other people think and, wanting to be as quote normal as possible.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to, have to say no to the cupcake. And
can I ask,
so we learned.
Did you struggle with that? Like, because I can kind of see myself being of two minds there. Like if we started off, with the carbs and it wasn't working and we're like, well, let's try lower carb, and lower carb worked. And then you start feeling like, well, I'm not like everybody else. Was there a part of you, like from a parenting perspective, that wanted to say to her, hey, it's not our job to be like everybody else. It's okay. Like, because I imagine,
totally.
Yeah, right. Because that's a weird position to be in as a parent all of a sudden.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it was such a contrast and such a obviously curveball for all of us, but for Maggie most especially and it was my own like control, issues that I needed to sort of just like let go and learn. And okay, there's going to be highs and there's going to be lows and we can manage those. And, Maggie gets to be Maggie.
Yeah. What do you call a high blood sugar? Where's the number when you start going, oh, geez, I didn't do something right?
I'm not a diabetes ninja, not yet.
It's okay.
And it's one of the things that I would want parents to know about schools. Like for me, I'm willing to relinquish a little bit more control when she's at school. I'm not worried about a blood sugar of 150 or 180 when she's at school. I'm going to let that ride out. The pump's going to take care of it. And she's, just going to be, high for a little bit. That's okay. She'll come back down.
What system is she on?
Omnipod and G7.
Omnipod 5?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Omnipod 5. Yeah.
If she's at school with a 150 blood sugar, you wouldn't send a text to somebody that said, hey, why don't we bolus here?
Nope.
No, you'd say, I think the algorithm's going to bring this down at some point.
Totally. Okay. Totally. Yep.
Is there a number where you call the nurse and go, okay, we're upside down, let's do something?
Yes. I think if she's above 250, which I know seems high, I still feel like at the beginning of this diagnosis, even though it's been 2 years. But for the most part, she's pretty well controlled when she's at school. And if anything, I'm calling to have her eat a Starburst because she's, in the 70s, which I don't really care for when she's at school because she can drop pretty fast, depending on if it's, PE, recess, whatever.
Right.
So most of my calls are on the low end, as opposed to the high.
So you're adding context, but she's not walking around 180 all day most days.
No,
right,
no.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to understand the what you're using to calibrate yourself with.
Yeah.
And so you weren't able to, Zoloft was able to give away that anxiety. This episode is sponsored by Tandem Diabetes Care. And today I'm going to tell you about Tandem's newest pump and algorithm. The Tandem Mobi system with Control-IQ Plus technology features auto bolus, which can cover missed meal boluses and help prevent hyperglycemia. It has a dedicated sleep activity setting and is controlled from your personal iPhone. Tandem will help you to check your benefits today through my link, tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. This is going to help you to get started with Tandem's smallest pump yet, that's powered by its best algorithm ever. Control-IQ Plus technology helps to keep blood sugars in range by predicting glucose levels 30 minutes ahead, and it adjusts insulin accordingly. You can wear the Tandem Mobi in a number of ways. Wear it on body with a patch-like adhesive sleeve that is sold separately, clip it discreetly to your clothing, or slip it into your pocket. Head now to my link, tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox to check out your benefits and get started today.
I think some of it was Zoloft. I think some of it was, it's just time, right? This just becomes part of, I remember listening to one of your podcasts and somebody was saying something like human beings just adapt, right? And this is just, we've just adapted. This is just part of our life. And do we wish we didn't have to deal with it? Sure. But I can't waste time or energy on that anymore. Just gotta keep moving forward.
I think you're going to find, because she's diagnosed young and you're a young family still, right? And how old are you?
I'm 45, not that young.
Well, you can say it, Scott, but it's not true. Did you start a little late on purpose?
I did. I got married. We got married at 35. I got married at 35.
Nice.
And then I got pregnant at 36 and 38.
Long line of losers behind you, or
That's right.
You're like, geez, I kept trying to find one, Scott. They're not as plentiful as you think. The one I settled on isn't actually great. It's just,
he is great.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure he's fantastic. Well, I guess what I wanted to say was that this is going to morph and change so many times.
Yeah.
You won't even recognize this part of it 6 months from now, let alone 6 years from now.
Yeah.
If Arden was 7 and she was at school, and of course this would have been before algorithms and stuff like that, I would have absolutely bolused a 150. I would have bolused a 180. I probably would have bolused it like 130, to be perfectly honest, because I was acting as the, the decision maker already.
Yeah.
Now, and then moving forward, after kind of learning how the system she was using, the different systems she's used over the time have worked, there's times when you're like, well, there's no reason to interject here. It's going to take care of it. There's times when you see and you go, I don't think this is going to work out ever, or it's going to take too long. But then, morphing forward till she is, who she is today.
Yeah.
The reasons you don't bother somebody to bolus a 150 when they're 21 are different than the reasons you don't do it when they're 7.
Yeah, I get that.
You really do have to, I don't know exactly. Like you have to keep rolling with it and making new decisions. And then at some point, like the give it away part of it is I know how I hope Arden ends up being as an adult taking care of herself, but I also feel like I've talked to countless people and I realize that it's not reasonable to expect everybody to do something based on like directions or a check sheet or something like that. People are just who they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the other jackpot that we hit was our school nurse is type 1. Maggie's school nurse is type 1.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how do you find that to be valuable?
First and foremost, just the education and knowledge. I continue to be struck by, how many people don't know the ins and outs. Not that they should, but, that it can be critical and scary. And that you have to intervene, immediately. It can turn into a medical emergency. So I think that was helpful. I also think just from my daughter seeing her every day and seeing her sensor and that it's just part of, she's a great, successful adult and school nurse and,
like their own They have their own little community there of support.
Which is
It's really lovely.
Which is so great.
That's excellent. Do you work in the same district your kid goes to school in?
I don't know.
All right. So you didn't hire the type 1 nurse on purpose?
No.
Scott, it was a little bit of abuse of power, but what I did was
exactly. I would have if I could have.
I absolutely would have. It's very nice. Let's see. Go ahead. You have thoughts?
I was just gonna say I have to be pretty aware of my role at school when it comes to type 1 kids at my own school, because I want to overstep, I think, at times when that's not really my role. I had a student whose blood sugar was low, and we had a substitute who was having him eat Jell-O.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Oh, how many carbs are in the Jell-O?" And she was like, "I don't know." And I said, "0. He needs juice. He's in the 50s. And again, I was glad I was there to support. And then the community that I serve is a lower socioeconomic than the community that I live. And so there's really a lack of resources sometimes that hurts my heart as a mom and an educator. I just think there's more we could do in terms of advocacy and education.
Yeah. The Jell-O is interesting.
Yeah.
When you step in, do you step in and say, "Oh, I have," or do they know you have a child with type 1, or did you just were you like, "Hey, I have some background on this and that's not going to work"?
Yeah. That my staff and students know that I have a child with type 1. This was a substitute, so I don't think she knew.
Where'd she get the Jell-O?
I don't know.
It's random, isn't it?
Funny. I know.
I'm low. Would you like my lime Jell-O?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you have lime? Everyone knows orange is better, but that's neither here nor there. Jell-O is Jell-O ground up horse hooves.
The gelatin. Yeah.
It is, right?
Disgusting.
Yeah. It is disgusting, but Jell-O is great.
Yeah.
Jello. Why'd you want to come on the podcast? Also, don't forget to mention that I'm famous, like you did before we started recording.
You are, Scott. Seriously, I am still nervous talking to you.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a half an hour. Are you kidding me?
I know, because you're a celebrity in my house and in my community. And my type 1 mom friends were so excited for me to be to be talking to you today.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
they're
nice.
so excited. Yeah.
That's lovely. I watched my wife run away from me in the kitchen yesterday. I was like, "Hey, can I tell you something?" And she's like, "Not now." And she just...
If that ain't marriage in a nutshell, huh?
I swear to you, we were in the car the other day. She brought something up. It was like a social thing.
Yeah.
It was a pretty deep point about something she brought up. We're chatting about it, not for long. And I had I wanted to add to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally don't remember what it was. It's not important. And I added to it, and there's this long pause, and she didn't say anything. And I turned and I looked at her, and I was like, "Are you going to respond?" And she goes,
"Hello?
"I'm just listening. I have nothing to say about this." I'm like, "You brought this up." I'm like, "You started this conversation, and I'm trying to keep it going, and you just went mute in the middle of it." She's like, "Yeah, I'm not interested." I was like, "Okay." So I was telling Arden, and Arden goes, "I do that sometimes."
Yeah, totally.
She's like, "I just get bored in the middle." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Anyway, yeah, that's lovely. How long have you, I'm sorry, you told me, but you've been married since how long?
I've been married for 10 years.
Okay. And was definitely the wrong word there, but are you and your husband splitting duties on the diabetes stuff, or does he have a thing he does? How do you manage the workload?
Yeah, no, it's I think, been probably one of the biggest challenges in our marriage, because when Maggie was first diagnosed, it was I took it all on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still probably the number one, the point of contact. I wouldn't let him do a lot to start, which was, again, just my own issues with control.
Mm-hmm.
But then it got to the point where, I couldn't I couldn't leave. I mean, literally was with my daughter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything, couldn't trust anyone else.
You were spiraling, you would say?
I was.
Yeah.
And my husband is a wonderful, capable, intelligent man. And it became very important for me that we, both were doing things and I just started, resenting him for it, even though it was me who was preventing him from doing
Don't touch this kid. I cannot believe you are not helping me with this kid.
Exactly.
Hey,
that was exactly it.
I want to just say this right now. Kelly told me I was cooking sausage incorrectly last night.
Hilarious. You're doing it wrong, Scott.
I was like, what's happening? And so she said, I wish I would have. I've been married almost 30 years and I still didn't know to be quiet on this next little bit. She goes, what's this all over the sausage? And I went, are you referring to the pepper? And she goes, yes. What did she say? Why did you flavor the sausage? The sauce is going to do that. And I said, well, I'm just doing it the same exact way I've done it for the last 30 years. And I kind of let it go and I didn't say anything else. But I was standing there with the sausage and she's doing something else and we're cooking together, right? In Cosmopolitan magazine, they tell you that's sexy, but trust me, it's not. They're lying to you about that. And I couldn't let it go. And I waited 3 solid minutes through some real silence because it was clearly not looking for her input on the sausage making. And I just said, I got to tell you, you're a special person. And she says, how's that? And already in her voice, she's like, go ahead, say the shitty thing you're going to say.
Yeah, exactly. Try it.
How could you describe pepper as what's this all over the sausage? It's like, oh my God. What is happening?
Marriage.
It was revealed 24 hours later that she might be having her period. But I don't think that has anything to do with it, Courtney, because her period does not change how she reacts to things. Okay. Yeah. She is the same person no matter what. And I will use her words, her menstrual flow and the hormones that come with it. They only change her inability to deal with me being stupid.
Yeah.
And so in a normal situation, she would have shut up about how I just spread whatever that is all over the sausage. But on that day, it needed to be described as what is that all over the sausage?
It has to be said. Yeah.
I swear to God, when she said that, I thought, what is she talking about? What is all over the sausage? And then I finally went, are you talking about the pepper?
Yep.
What else is on this? She said. And I went, onion, garlic, pepper, the same goddamn thing I put on it my whole life. I was like, what? She goes, ugh.
You should have done better. God,
I don't know what I know was wrong with me. I'm a horrible person. I was the only man in America cooking during that football game last night, by the way.
Hilarious.
You're welcome. So anyway, so you ostracized your husband and then ostracized him again for allowing himself to be ostracized. Now, since that's been cleared up, what's the deviation of work? How does it work now?
It's pretty much 50-50. I tend to be the point person for school just because schools are where I feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. But I just went away last weekend and I know that he does a great job and is on top of things. And Maggie knows that too now. And I don't think she did at the beginning. She would always only come to me. And some of that was, and Mom.
Premeditated?
Yeah.
Don't go to him. He's horrible.
Exactly. But I think some of that, she needs to know that there's lots of people and that Dad can take care of her just as well as Mom can.
I agree.
And, so,
very
and
nice.
we're in
you
a
made
good
your way
place
through
with
it.
that.
You made your way through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you went away, didn't think about it the whole time you were gone. It was kind of free and easy for you.
It was actually. Yeah. It was pretty easy.
You're selling Zoloft today like water in the desert. I'll tell you. There's a lot of ladies right now going, was that a Z? Z-O, what?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think you can ever totally turn it off, but, I glanced at her blood sugar and I think maybe I texted him once or twice to be like, did you give her something?
Pretty awesome.
She's on the low.
That's pretty
So,
awesome. And
yeah.
it's going to keep bothering me if I don't ask you. Are you from
Yeah.
are you from the Midwest originally?
I'm not.
What you were born where you are?
No, I
Oh,
was born in Boston and then I grew up in Jersey
and now
for most of my life. And now I'm out in Arizona. Yeah.
your accent's like a really interesting blend. I can't figure out what it is while it's
Oh,
happening. It's nice.
thanks.
It's part of what made me, when I incorrectly said a half an hour ago, so you don't have any anxiety. You sound calm while you're speaking. Is that the school thing?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just, yes. Yeah. Years of practice, but yeah.
I have a tone, Scott, that stops people from throwing things in my office.
Exactly.
I learned it in college. That was most of my last year.
That's right.
Because you really do make me feel at ease.
I make you feel at ease?
Yeah, your voice makes me feel at ease.
Oh, that's so nice. That's a really nice compliment.
Yeah. And you come off so like somewhere between Minnesota and Wisconsin-y Chicago when you're talking, but you're not at all.
Funny. No,
That's
I'm
awesome.
not.
That's right. Yeah. Did the whole group of ladies that love me, did you guys pick straws as to who got to come on the podcast? Or
Well, it's funny because one of my good friends, she is also an educator, and she was talking about like just how many families, and she volunteers for Diabetes Network of Arizona, and they do a lot of work with families who are newly diagnosed in terms of helping them get 504 plans set up and support with school. And she was saying, she was just like, I just think as educators can kind of see both sides of things in terms of the experience working at a school and then the experience of, well, holy crap, and now I have to send my 5-year-old to school with this life-threatening medical condition and trust that the staff there are going to take care of her and keep her safe.
Sure.
So she was like, you go on, Courtney. You're a principal. Go on, and
Well, it is hard to know, right? Because I'm sure for, all the good nurses out there who have type 1 diabetes doing a great job, like you probably have worked with people in the past where you're like, I wouldn't leave my guinea pig with that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. And how are you supposed to know?
Exactly. And I think, but what I do think is that 99% of school employees want to do the right thing. They're there because they love kids. They want to make sure kids are cared for, that they're physically safe, emotionally safe. I think what gets in the way sometimes is just a lack of education and a lack of knowledge around type 1. And so I feel like, gross negligence aside, right? I think you can always, and you should, problem solve with the school. I mean, I had to do it for my daughter when she was first diagnosed. I requested a 504 meeting. I went in and I said, I want someone to follow her numbers. And they said, well, we don't have an iPad. And I said, you can get one. And they were like, well, we don't have one.
They're
I said,
for sale. You can get them anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it was like, if you don't have the power to get an iPad and follow her, who should I talk to? Is it your technology department? Is it the superintendent? Like, I think the best advice I could give any parent is like, assume positive intentions of the school, right? They want to do the right thing. And then you problem solve as a team, or you advocate up. You go up the chain of command. No problem. Who should we talk to then? How can we make sure?
When that first person says, iPad, I don't have an iPad.
Yeah.
You see that person as the school instead of the person who is in a position that doesn't have an iPad and doesn't have a budget to buy an iPad. And so instead of saying, look, I don't have one of those and I don't know how to get it, we could talk to somebody else. They just go, nope, I don't have an iPad.
Yeah.
And it's that simple, those kind of simple answers that then spark you on the other side to go, they don't want to help me.
Right.
Meanwhile, who's they? It's just this person in front of you who's limited by their options.
Totally.
Okay.
And listen, my kids go to public schools. I work in a public school. Public schools are understaffed, under-resourced, and oftentimes, your school nurse, your health tech, they are, literally, my daughter's school has 1,100 students. If at any point I was worried that she wasn't getting the care that she needed because, the workload was too much for the health staff, I would advocate. And I know that I could go to the superintendent. I could schools are really, for the most part, doing the best that they can. And I'm willing to work with schools, all day long as we are assuming positive intentions, we're kind to each other, and we problem solve. And if we can't solve it, great. Who else should we talk to then? Who can help us?
What would pre-Zoloft Courtney tell me? Because that sounds like a very measured response when somebody tells you I can't help your kid. Because I'm trying to imagine a person who's more newly diagnosed, who doesn't work at a school, and all they can think is, I got to be able to see the numbers, and the people are watching me to see the numbers. So you guys got to be able to see the numbers. And then somebody goes, we don't have an iPad. And you're going, they don't understand. And then it kind of goes like that real quickly. Like, right. Yeah. So before, can you contextualize how you would have managed this before you were in your Zen place?
I mean, I can. And listen, I think it's not just type 1 diabetes. We as parents are, our kids are the most important thing to us. So it is, I think, natural to get fired up and to immediately want to come in hot. I think my brother says you never want to go full nuclear right away, right? Mm-hmm. So you can, and I do, bitch and moan to, my friends, my family, people that get it. And then when I'm interacting with school employees, my professional hat is on, and I'm, I try to be kind and respectful and acknowledge the place that they're in while continuing to relentlessly advocate for my child. And I
hear you. I wish it was 1978 still. It just, you know what I mean? I know. It was so easy. You'd be like, hey, you got to get an iPad. And they'd be like, no, I don't. Yeah. And you just smack them. And then there'd be an iPad, and somebody get arrested, and everybody be laughing about it for 5 minutes. Then it'd be over.
Yeah.
The world. You're like, I have to think about where they're at and what
I know.
I agree with you, by the way.
But I'm saying I think both things can be true. I think you can be a pain in the rear end and relentlessly advocate and still be kind.
Yeah,
I think
all
those things can. I think all those things can exist. And in my current role, my professional life, I'll work with parents like that all day long.
Yeah.
But the minute someone comes in and is
yelling out cussing, the door,
it makes it difficult to want to help them. Mm-hmm. Not that we don't, but just having been on the other side of it, I feel like it makes it easier for me when I'm advocating for my own child or my own children.
When someone's yelling at you, do you ever wonder, maybe they're right? Or maybe we are really missing the point here. And I mean, this person's very upset.
Yes.
Because that's got to be hard while you're being yelled at to be considerate of.
It is. I think, we talk about, adults, just like how we interact with kids. You can set a boundary and hold that boundary and be kind all at the same time. So I don't think there's ever been a time where I haven't tried to acknowledge, I hear you, and I hear why you're upset and angry, and all of those things can be true. But again, when when you've gone full nuclear and you're yelling at school staff, I think you've lost. I think you've lost the battle.
Oh, I agree with you. I was just wondering from your perspective, when they're yelling, are you just maybe there's a point here, and it's just
sure.
Yeah. It's a tough situation to be in. So, I mean, listen, I tell people all the time, first of all, your kid's going to be at that school for a very long time.
Yeah.
You get one chance not to be the crazy guy. And once you're the crazy guy, you're the crazy guy forever.
Forever.
Yeah. No one's giving that away. Once you pick up that monocle and put it on, they're going to be like, all right, here they come. And
a monocle.
Yeah. The monocle of crazy. And it can happen easily. I've said it a million times. You start talking about diabetes to an uninitiated person, just saying the things that are actually important makes you sound like you're out of your mind.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a tough world. You need answers in the short term, right? You can't just you can't wait 6 weeks till you guys figure out what to do. We have to do it now. No. Let me explain to you why. And then here's why. And then the other person on the other side's like, I think they're making half of this up. It sounds ridiculous. They're out of their minds. They just want something.
Totally.
A tough situation to be in. Really is.
It is. And if anything, though, many of my friends worry about being, quote, that parent.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
want to be that parent. So I'm not gonna, oh, you can call, you can email, you can request a meeting, you can have a conversation and again, problem solve together with them. That's actually what we're paid to do in our role as education professionals.
Yeah.
So don't worry about being that parent.
Don't
Be a
worry.
pain in the neck, but you can do that in a way that's nice.
And I should have a 504 plan, right?
You should have a 504 plan. Abso-freaking-lutely.
And when the school tells me I don't need one, they are really just trying to get out of being legally bound to something. Yes or no?
Not necessarily. I think there are schools that they're like, well, we're doing it already. We're doing all the things that you're asking for. So, like, don't worry about it. It's not necessary. To which I would reply, absolutely, it's necessary. And I'm glad that you're doing all the things and the accommodations are in place for my child, but I need it documented in a 504. Absolutely.
I need a leg to stand on if you should stop doing it.
Absolutely.
And is that insulting when you like put yourself in the administrator role? Like, we're doing it, we're going to take care of it. And somebody goes, I don't really trust that you're going to, so I want to put this document into place.
Yeah.
Let me say this one thing that I'm always interested in.
Yeah.
Not just education, in all walks of life.
Yeah.
When you work somewhere and you're following the rules that have been laid down by your employer,
yeah,
and someone comes in and says, I don't like that, or I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm always interested when the employee decides to take it personally.
Yeah.
Always freaks me out. Like when that happens, like, why are you so, like, look, you have a job and I have a job. I'm the kid's mom, dad.
Yep.
You're the lady telling me I can't have the 504 plan. Fair enough.
Yep.
Right. Like when I push back, why do you feel like I'm pushing back against you? I'm pushing back against the institution.
Yep.
You're the mouthpiece for the institution, but I don't blame you for this, what's happening here.
Right.
But a lot of people in that employee situation, I'm like, why are you insulted? It's got nothing to do with you, but that really does happen a lot. People
absolutely, people take things personally.
Take it
for
personally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You wouldn't get. I'd be like, look, man, it's just my job. I don't care.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Freaking matter to me what we do. I'm trying to pay my bills. Okay, like I need health insurance like the rest of you.
Yeah.
It does fascinate me when that happens, when the people, they get up and they really get their back up about it. And I'm like, wow, I'm not, no one's talking to you, talking to the,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
I know it's interesting, but yes, 504 is
get a 504,
non-negotiable. Yeah,
okay, absolutely. And it needs to be specific, right? It can't be vague, and
it needs to be very specific. Absolutely. And I think, my other guidance for parents would be like, decide what's your priority, and obviously physical safety is everybody's priority, but like for Maggie, she hates being called out for diabetes.
Okay.
So we had to kind of figure out, and she's had some amazing teachers, oh my God, like what we do right now, which isn't necessarily written explicitly in the 504, but it's outlined. I'll call the nurse. I'll say, can you have Maggie eat a Starburst? She'll say, no problem. She calls into the classroom. And when the phone rings, Maggie looks at her teacher, and her teacher puts up a number 1. And she knows that means go and eat a Starburst. She doesn't want to be called out for it. She was like, we had a substitute the other day. And the substitute was like, okay, Maggie has to go to the nurse before lunch. And she was like, it was so embarrassing, Mom. We're trying to prioritize too, like, and take cues from Maggie, what she's comfortable with.
Yeah.
Not the numbers stuff. Again, but the accommodations that I wanted in place for Maggie were not just the physical accommodations, but really, all of the things that she can. And my priority as a parent was to keep her out of the nurse's office as much as possible.
Right.
I don't want her in the nurse's office all day long, which I think schools, to be honest, tend to do because it's easier and it can be scary when you have, a child. But I was like, she can be treated in the classroom. She can eat a Starburst in her classroom when she's low. She doesn't need to go to the nurse if she's, in the 60s and having a Starburst. She's fine. Yeah. She's going to stay in class and she's going to learn. And
how long do you think before you take them out of that decision chain? Like right, because right now you're calling the nurse who's calling teacher who's telling the
I
kid.
know.
Yeah. At what point do you take out the nurse and the teacher?
I actually think it's probably pretty soon. I was just talking to Maggie this weekend and gonna get her a watch so that we can just start texting diabetes, because she's there. She's 7. She's really bright and she wants to take it on. That's the other piece that I think I know for us as parents, it's kind of the pluses and negatives of, I want to take on this burden for her as long as I can. But, and I don't want her to have to worry about her blood sugar during the school day. I want her to worry about being a kid and passing her time test in math and playing with her friends. I don't want her have to think about diabetes all the time. On the same hand, this will be her life. This is her life, and so she should feel empowered that she knows what to do.
Yeah, you don't want her just sitting around like, I feel low, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what to do, or
totally.
Right.
And we've been there. So
7, she's embarrassed at 7, huh? About that. Like, I don't want people to talk about
she's pretty cool, Scott. Okay.
Pretty
cool.
I don't know if
very
well. I'm not arguing with you, but very what? What is she?
She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But she also I turned her alarms, most of her alarms off, because she would get so embarrassed. And then I think it's also just having, especially at the beginning, navigating how you respond when kids ask questions. And why does Maggie have a phone? Why does Maggie have to go to the nurse? And we're past that now.
What does she tell the kids? I would say, my parents love me. That's what I would say.
Well, it's funny because she said a lot of different things, and it's why kids are the best. I mean, diagnosed in kindergarten, I was like, you could just say like, oh, I need insulin for my body. And she was like, Mom, nobody knows what insulin means. And I was like, okay,
She's
then just
listen, I'm surrounded by a bunch of these little dumbasses. Trust me, they don't know nothing, Mom. Okay.
Exactly.
But I gotta spend my life explaining insulin to these little idiots. I can't be involved. What has she got? Is she like kind of like older than her age?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's wise. Yeah, she is. But
look what I'm surrounded by. You want me to teach these people?
But how we talk about it with kids is like, everybody has something. How my dad has hearing aids because his ears need help hearing.
What's that?
Know how.
Thank you for laughing. Keep going.
Good one. But the little girl who is in a wheelchair because she needs help because her legs need support. The little boy who has alopecia, his hair doesn't grow. Like, we're all different. Our bodies all need different things. And I mean, obviously this is a 5-year-old conversation we're having with 5-year-olds, but kids are the best. They just accept it. You just have to tell them once, twice, maybe. And then,
they're pretty good with it after that. Yeah. I agree. Mm-hmm. And I also understand if she doesn't want everybody to be in her business too. So
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's interesting. Well, I guess I'd like to understand a little better on the management side.
Yeah.
So you started off, hey, we're low carb. What was the A1C during low carb time?
I think, I don't remember what it was at the beginning. We did it for a few months. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think her A1C was 10 point something when she was diagnosed.
Okay.
And it's not where I want her A1C right now. It's not where I want it to be.
Okay.
But I love our endocrinologist. She's amazing. And she's like, you're doing great. Like, it'll get better, and she's like, I'm not worried. You also have to, prioritize your own mental health, your daughter's mental health. And, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Do you know why she thinks it's going to get better?
I think the realities of eating and little kids, and there's probably things we could be doing differently and better, but okay, bolus her, whatever, 40 grams for pancakes. And then she decides she doesn't want pancakes. And then I'm like, oh God, just some of those things. I think the learning curve was so steep for us too, just in understanding how all of the different things impact her blood sugar.
Yeah. You're still catching up, really.
Yeah. Totally.
And so I'm assuming where the doctor imagines things are going to get better is because as your understanding grows, you'll be able to implement those things easier and things will continue to get better. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's completely reasonable. And you're educating yourself along the way and learning, and you're having experiences that are probably making the next experience even easier. It's time.
Yeah.
Time is important. It takes time.
It does take time. I remember being pretty upset a couple months after diagnosis and calling one of my close friends. And I was like, I just can't do it. I can't get it right. And she was like, oh, you haven't mastered diabetes in 3 months, Courtney? That's weird. Like, I think even though Maggie's been diagnosed for 2 years now, I still feel like I should be further along. And some of that is, I love you, Scott, but I take the Juicebox podcast in doses too. There's times where I'm like, I need a diabetes break. I need to like not take a break from like the social media stuff, the, reading about it, learning about it. I just need to take a break. And then I feel better and throw myself back in it. And, but it can be a lot.
Yeah. Like, Courtney, let me tell you, Courtney's like, listen, I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to cry. I'm in a unique position, right? Where all I can do is give it to you the way I see it. And then you're supposed to take from it what you want and what you have space for and what you have understanding for. And if you want to come back and get a little more later, that's great. And if you don't, I understand that too.
Yeah.
I think it would be wrong of me or anybody to come out and just say like, hey, here's some milk toast thing. And it's going to leave your A1C in the 8s, but you know what? You're doing great. Don't worry about it. And then you might think that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to do the things that lead to, a 6 or a 5 or, whatever the hell, it doesn't even matter. Like that's all well and good. At least you know what it is.
Totally.
And there are plenty of people who, by the way, understand the concepts, don't have the headspace to implement all of them, but aren't overwhelmed by knowing there's more out there.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. I get that.
Yeah. Yep. And so it can't be for, I don't really know how to put it exactly. Like, I think the way that I explained it a long time ago, I still feel the same way. And maybe because you're an educator, you'll understand what I mean here. But there's 20 people in a class and 2 kids are limited and 5 are average and 5 are a little above average. And there's 2 that are brilliant and 1 that doesn't pay attention and 1 that stares at the ceiling. And like, there's a mix of people in there. Yeah. I don't think we do anybody any good teaching like lowest common denominator. Like, I think you have to be aspirational when you teach.
Agree. Agree. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I get if I'm not insulted by what you said at all. Like you said, I'm sorry. You have to be sorry. Like I completely understand maybe looking at it and going, I'm not ready for all this yet.
Yeah. That's all. Again, when you're first diagnosed, you're drinking through a fire hose, right?
Yeah.
You're still sort of like mourning and, dealing with the grief of all of this. But I am forever grateful to you and to this podcast because I think I'd be lost without it.
Well, so tell me about that. Like, if you're not really ready for all of it, but you're still really grateful for it, explain to me what it's doing at the moment for you, what you expect for it to do later.
Well, this is a silly example, but we're in the hospital and she's been diagnosed and we're MDI and they are saying, okay, count up her carbs after she's eaten and, give her a shot, give her the insulin. And nobody told me that we should pre-bolus. Not a single person at our children's hospital told us that. I think there is so much that, and it's not to be critical of the hospital because I think they're teaching you survival. They're not teaching you day-to-day management.
Courtney,
they couldn't.
Can I laugh with you for a second?
Yeah.
You are so clearly a teacher because any person in a service industry, you're like, listen, they're trying their best.
They are.
You preface it. I love my nurse. I love this person. Now let me tell you something bad they do.
I mean.
You love them. Now tell me the bad part. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's my next undertaking at some point in my life is redoing the education that newly diagnosed parents get in the hospital because it was crap.
How are you gonna make an impact on that?
No, I was again my type 1 mom friends. We were like, it's a large children's hospital. Mm-hmm. You're getting diagnosis. Kids being diagnosed left and right. And there's, I think, a way that we can provide education to families that also honors that, like, they're in crisis right now, right? And yes, it's drinking through a fire hose, but good education is not handing parents a book and saying, here's what you do. And here's, insulin that your child needs to survive, but don't give them too much because that they might die.
What are you gonna do? You gonna pick it? You're gonna form a line? I know you guys are labor. You could do that. Do you want to?
I actually think the diabetes educators that I've worked with, I think they're wanting to improve the education that happens. And they're advocating too, but I think it would be wise to partner with, people in education to say, okay, how do adults learn? How can we give them more, give parents of newly diagnosed children more information, but not just, count up their carbs, give them a shot afterwards, and you're good to go. No.
May I break your heart?
Yeah.
I was speaking to a healthcare provider recently.
Yeah.
And when I got finished, I got off the phone and thought, oh my God, I understand this better than they do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I was really like, and I checked myself. I went to a friend and I said, is it possible that they maybe are just holding back like what they really think, but, are saying what is safe to say or what they're, I don't know, what they're legally like. I don't know. I'm like making quotes around the whole thing. I don't even know. Like, I felt like I was getting a real vibe that I was saying, they were saying one thing and I was adding on to it by saying like, yeah, but you have to really consider this too. And then when they said, oh no, I agree. But then they went back to the more basic idea. Yeah. And I thought, I don't feel like they're following me on the rest of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the person I spoke to again was like, yeah, I think sometimes you meet people who really don't get the bigger picture about this at all. They were trained a certain way. Yeah. And that's all they really know how to talk about. And they haven't dug into it any more than that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes those people are in charge of how things get decided.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, Maggie had a stomach virus last year and we ended up in the ER at the Children's Hospital. And the physician asked me when the last time I gave her long-acting insulin was.
Okay.
And I said, oh, she's on Omnipod 5. She's on an insulin pump. And he was like, yeah, no, I know. When did you give her Lantus? They don't know.
Yeah. And you're like, well, I mean, a couple years ago, I guess.
Right.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And that, again, the fight of, take off her, we're going to take off her pod. No, you're not. Over my dead body. You're not taking it off.
That's tough. That's what you're up against, Yeah. But again, like it's a lot of personalities and understandings and intellects, and it's a big soup, and you've got to live through it. I just think of it more as like some years you get a good one, and sometimes you don't. You just have to kind of bob and weave your way through it. And
totally.
Even like, when Arden got to high school, I look back now on this like lovely thing that the nurse said to me when I was meeting the nurse for the first time, like, so Arden will come down and we'll work out her boluses before every meal. And I was like, Arden's never coming down to the nurse's office if we can help it. And she's like, no, she'll come down. We'll be friends and we'll blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my daughter doesn't need a 45-year-old buddy at school. I was like, but also I see what she meant. And it was literally from a nice place. It was lovely.
Totally. Yeah.
But then when I talked to her about diabetes, she really didn't understand it at all. And so I was like,
I know.
You were going to be the buddy? And I was like, okay. But at the same time, like she's lovely. She came to work every day. She followed the instructions when the instructions were there. But very quickly, I think she realized Arden wasn't, that's just where we kept the extra supplies.
Yep.
Honestly, like we weren't really looking for a lot of input.
Yeah.
But for the people who needed it, I don't know. I wish I could talk to those people. But then you have to count on those people having a self-awareness.
Yes.
Commiserate with the idea that they don't know what they're talking about either. So so since you don't know what you're talking about and the nurse maybe knows better than you, explain to me why this was a good experience for you without, and I'm not trying to, I wouldn't be trying to insult anybody. It's a hard conversation to have. Yeah, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
But again, I think at the end of the day, we can trust that the people who live this experience, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they're going to be the experts, not, but again, it's not just type 1. I think that's kind of a universal thing. I'm never going to understand spina bifida in the way that, the family that's lived it, does. So
I agree. That's it. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, Scott.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that we should have, or anything we missed? I don't want to miss anything.
I don't think so. I think shout out to all the public school educators who are doing God's work, and don't be afraid to be, quote, that parent. That's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Get in there and advocate for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good message. You might not come off great, but just try to stay balanced. Don't be the crazy person. That's always my message. Try not to be the crazy person.
Yeah.
I take your point too. Long life, right?
Yep.
Not a sprint.
Not a sprint.
That kind of stuff.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you get a bad one this year, you might get a better one next year.
Absolutely. And again, you can still work with the bad ones.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I think so.
Some of the times they're horrible.
They are. And I think in those instances, that's where I would say, then again, we're moving on. We're if it's the nurse, if it's the teacher, if it's, I'm going to request something different. I think you can always problem solve.
Can I tell you that I have 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
One has gone through school and then 4 years of college. And the other one is 3.5 years in the college.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen them treated wonderfully by lovely people. I've seen them treated admirably by people who are solid workers. They're not great teachers or bad teachers. They're get in there and do the work job. And I would tell you that I never would have believed this, but a handful of times over all these years and 2 kids going through school, there have been teachers who just flat out do not like your kids.
Yeah.
And there's no more high-mindedness to it than that.
Yeah.
And Arden has had experiences where female teachers have said to her, well, yeah, I'm sure you're used to things going your way because you're pretty. And I don't know what meeting you're going to get that all worked out in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So then you realize that's the person you're dealing with, and you you just melt into the background and just try to get by. You know what I mean? You stay out of it. Okay, this is not a fixable situation. Now, was that happening constantly? This is obviously not the rule, right? It was an outlier.
Oh, the exception. Sure.
But it happened. And,
sure.
I probably have about 4 examples of people being where forget that they're teachers or anything. They're just terrible people.
Yeah.
In a situation. And you're like,
and
wow.
It's sad that kids have to learn that lesson as kids. We want to protect them, but on the same hand, there's going to be people that don't like you. That's a hard lesson to learn. Yeah. I know, and it stinks.
Doesn't always have to make sense either, and that's the tough part. Because when you're young, you're like, well, you don't what did I do?
Yeah,
that's a hard lesson. No, you did. You don't have to do anything all the time. Yeah, no. That's interesting. Yeah. Meanwhile, most of them are fine.
Yeah, totally.
Some of them are like you. You seem lovely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I try.
You're welcome. Are you still nervous? We're done. Are you nervous now?
I am. I still am nervous.
How is that possible?
I don't know. And you're so lovely to talk to. It's just literally, this is like a full circle moment in my life.
All right. Well, listen, you're on the short list. When the lady leaves me eventually, I'll throw your name out there, see if you're still married, because you seem like you'd be impressed by whatever it is I do for a living. And
I'm sure that would wear off.
I'm going to need that. I'm just going to say I'm going to need that help in the dating process is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I think I'm past the part where I'm going to wow you in other ways. So, all right. Courtney, thank you so much. Hold on one second for me.
Thank you.
You were really great.
I really appreciate it. Okay.
Awesome. Hold on one second.
Take care. Okay.
The podcast episode that you just enjoyed was sponsored by Eversense CGM. They make the Eversense 365. That thing lasts a whole year. One insertion every year? Come on. You probably feel like I'm messing with you, but I'm not. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox. The podcast you just enjoyed was sponsored by Tandem Diabetes Care. Learn more about Tandem's newest automated insulin delivery system Tandem Mobi with Control-IQ Plus technology at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. There are links in the show notes and links at juiceboxpodcast.com. Arden has been getting her diabetes supplies from US Med for 3 years. You can as well. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. My thanks to US Med for sponsoring this episode and for being longtime sponsors of the Juicebox Podcast. There are links in the show notes and links at juiceboxpodcast.com to US Med and all of the sponsors. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast. If you're not already subscribed or following the podcast in your favorite audio app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do that now. Seriously, just to hit follow or subscribe will really help the show. If you go a little further in Apple Podcasts and set it up so that it downloads all new episodes, I'll be your best friend. And if you leave a 5-star review, I'll probably send you a Christmas card. Would you like a Christmas card? If you've ever heard a diabetes term and thought, okay, but what does that actually mean? You need the Defining Diabetes series from the Juicebox Podcast. Defining Diabetes takes all of those phrases and terms that you don't understand and makes them clear. Quick and easy episodes. Find out what bolus means, basal, insulin sensitivity, and all of the rest. There has to be over 60 episodes of Defining Diabetes. Check it out now in your audio player or go to juiceboxpodcast.com and go up into the menu. If you have a podcast and you need a fantastic editor, you want Rob from Wrong Way Recording. Listen, truth be told, I'm like 20% smarter when Rob edits me. He takes out all the gaps of time and when I go, and stuff like that. And it just, I don't know, man. I listen back and I'm like, why do I sound smarter? And then I remember because I did one smart thing. I hired Rob at wrongwayrecording.com.